What is up, YouTube? Today we are doing another online tier list, but as you can see, it's a little bit different. Normally it's just top tier and bottom tier, but I feel like with online specifically, there is a lot of difference between characters that get buffed, or get nerfed, or make people have to guess more and have unreactable situations, or characters that have to just kind of guess way harder in a lot of situations, and that's just kind of how they have to play. So, before we get into it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also the bell notification so you can get notified every time I upload a brand new video. And this one's going to be a doozy. Again, the timestamps for all the characters will be in the description, just saying. Before we figure out who is nice to play online, I wanted to tell you why it's nice to pick up today's sponsor of the video, Raid Shadow Legends. I know sometimes it can be frustrating to grind and smash and see no results, but if you grind and Raid Shadow Legends, your champions will get stronger and you will objectively be better. Think 80-something characters in Ultimates a lot? Well, Raid Shadow Legends has over 500 champions with unique skills so you can build up a team any which way you want. And depending on what you do, the game isn't easy, so if you fail, make sure to try to restructure your team, go to the tavern, level up your champions, or level them up, you know, just by the campaign, and then try again, because when you defeat those harder challenges, it is so satisfying. And Raid just released its biggest ever update, the Doom Tower. There are 120 floors full of secret challenge rooms, 12 crazy bosses to try, and it's been really difficult on me, but I've been having a lot of fun taking it on. Of course, there are new champions coming soon, there's special Valentine's Day events, there are so many amazing things to do with Raid Shadow Legends right now, so it's a great time to join. So if all that sounds good and you want a huge start in Raid Shadow Legends, head to the link in the description so you can get a bunch of stuff for free. You'll get your free Spirit Champion, 50,000 silver, 50 gems, 5 mystery shards, an EXP boost, 1 energy refill, and 1 clan boss key as soon as you get in the game. Just remember, the rewards will be in your inbox for only 30 days, so make sure you go up and click it in the up right corner. It's very important. So really quickly, I do want to explain the axes because it's obviously different than just having a top tier, low tier thing. So obviously there is top tier and low tier, and that's going to be the rank of my online character. For Has to Guess, it's basically just characters that have to guess a lot more than they would have to offline, whether it's in their combos, whether it's in their neutral. And then for Forces Guesses, it's characters that's just like, hey, my stuff is unreactable, and the people have to guess to get in on them, if that makes sense. Like, it forces characters, like, forces the opponent to guess, whereas they have to guess themselves, is the axis, basically. For this tier list, I do want to go over it in character order, not just like who's worse and who's better, because I actually haven't thought too much about this, but I want to today. So let's get started with Mario. So I would say that a lot of Mario's gameplay is kind of, like, his combos are very obvious, and they don't really need, like, Wi-Fi I feel like doesn't hinder it too much. But at the same time, he does have a lot of like dash grab with punishes that are a lot harder on Wi-Fi. So I'll say he's like he's obviously still like a good character, right? Like for sure. So I'll put him somewhere like, I feel like he's in the middle of Has to Guess / Forces Guesses. Because like his neutral's worse, but also he doesn't really have to guess on combos that a lot of characters do. So he's somewhere up there. Next up is DK. DK forces a lot of guesses on Wi-Fi because he has Hand Slap, he has a bunch of stuff that's just like punishable, but it's a lot harder to punish if it's on Wi-Fi. So he definitely forces guesses. But he's still just kind of okay. Like, I don't think DK is a great online character. Obviously, I mean, there have been DKs doing well, but I think that's just people being stupid. So, I would say he's somewhere like here. If a character gets more out of forcing other characters to guess, then they lose from input delay. They go on the right and vice versa for the left. Basically, yeah. So for Link, obviously his projectiles get a lot better. And he still has really good out of shield options, but his optimal combos are going to be worse, but at the same time, the best Link in the world kind of doesn't do optimal combos, he kind of just camps with Boomerang. So I definitely think he's more on the Forces Guesses side, and he is still quite good. I don't know if he's better than he is offline, like relatively, so he's probably just like around here. Next up is Samus and Dark Samus. So Samus Forces Guesses a lot on Wi-Fi. She's definitely going to be over here somewhere because Charge Shot is insane, and like not being able to react to Charge Shot for 4 more frames is a big deal. That is a large unreactable zone, also with bombs and just all of her general movement. It's really annoying to deal with on Wi-Fi for sure, or online. So she's definitely pretty high on the Forces Guesses, and I also think she's a very, very, very good online character. Very, very good online character. So I definitely think she's one of the best online characters, and also, you know, Forces Guesses a lot. Also, I'm not really sure what characters are going to be up here. I think like one, but that's about it. Yoshi. So I think Yoshi's actually kind of in the center here with Has to Guess since Forces Guesses. I mean, I know whiff punishing is actually pretty hard on Yoshi, but it's also hard in general against Yoshi. So like, it's not really that big of a deal. I guess probably slightly more in Forces Guesses, just because the whiff punishing for it is really way more difficult online, but still a very good character as well, so somewhere here. Amanda moving characters as more characters fill out the grid, by the way, just so y'all know. Kirby. I don't know if Kirby's better online or offline. Like, I don't know if how good he is, because he's short and the edge guarding is weird, but like he's also still kind of fight like a brawler, right? So I'm not exactly sure, because it's also weird because like there weren't a ton of good Kirbys, and now Jija or whatever his name is has been doing better. But I think that's just Kirby's discovered stuff, and Kirby got buffed as well as like in combination of online meta. I'm not 100% sure, but does he force his guesses or have to guess? He kind of just spams really fast moves like down tilt and forward air and stuff like that. So I would assume Warren forces guesses, but he's somewhere like in mid tier. Am I mid tier? I mean, yeah, is he better than? Yeah, he's better than DK online. I still think DK sucks. So the only thing that Fox forces you to guess is with dash attack, but he always did that, so it doesn't really matter. So he definitely is lower. He does not have, I mean, he has to guess a lot because just his general game plan is going to be nerfed, because he has to guess things like dashing backwards / dashing forward, his opponent shielding, his opponent jumping away, way more because of the lag. Also, he's kind of bad online. Maybe not that bad, because people underrate, or people, I guess, overrate how hard Fox is on, or how bad Fox is online. Well, Fox is somewhere there. Like, he's not actually bad online. He's just not as good. Like, he's not bad. He's just not top tier anymore. Like, as Fox, you can still overwhelm a lot of characters, and you're still fine. Pikachu! So, the thing about Pikachu is he still has T-Jolt, and he has Quick Attack, and those two things definitely get buffed online. But everything else, every single other thing, is worse about Pikachu. And the thing about Pikachu is the best things about Pikachu are his combos, at least in my opinion. His defensive play is also very good, as Shiny Mark's been showing, but I think he definitely forces guesses a lot. Or sorry, he has to guess a lot, because he has to guess a lot of the more minute situations in terms of whiff punishing and stuff like that. So he's definitely somewhere in the upper echelon of characters, not like super top tier, but he still has to guess. Maybe not that far, because he still has T-Jolt and Quick Attack, but like he's somewhere over there. Like I am losing faith in Pika as an online character, just like at least the way I play him, because I don't like just camping every single game. But I don't think Pikachu might not be like top 15 or something. Luigi forces guesses online. His neutral's hard to react to, and suddenly 4 frames earlier of a dash grab is a lot of earlier of a dash grab. He's still kind of okay though, because he also loses to a ton of projectile characters. Like, he loses to every projectile character, which we'll get to more of them. So maybe he's more like here, because he still has to guess a lot on, like, if you're not playing against a super hard projectile character, you're fine, but like a lot of the online meta is online characters, so I don't know, that's a weird one. Ness forces guesses and is broken. Maybe not. I think Samus forces more guesses, but like Ness is broken online because PK Fire is now a crazy guess. You know, his recovery is the worst thing about him, and you have to guess the timing way harder, and if you're wrong, you're going to die. The delay is so good for Ness, and then he still has great, huge options, huge out of shield options. He doesn't have to guess on his ledge trapping because he just charges down smash and charges up smash. Ness is insane online. He's also one of the best online characters by like a lot. Like, he's so good online. So I think he's up here. Falcon definitely forces some guesses because he's fast, but also he's not that fast. So he definitely has to guess more. And also, he's such a technical character at this point that, like, online makes him struggle a lot because he has to guess whether or not he's going to get his confirms, and he has to guess a lot of stuff. So he's pretty okay. He's worse than he is offline IMO, especially now. Jigglypuff. I think she has to guess more. She's kind of like in the Luigi realm of, like, technically she can get up close and do well, but also she loses to like every projectile character. So I don't know. Like, I don't think Puff is terrible. Like, I think Puff is still like, I think in terms of top tier and low tier offline, she's like here. So like, she definitely gets worse. Next up, because of a chat sub, is Zelda. Zelda forces guesses all the time. She's here. She's also not like, she's not that good compared to a bunch of the other online monsters, but she's all the way over here on the axis. Like, she forces guesses. She is the most Wi-Fi character. She's the second most online character. So I'm gonna put her there instead, because like Phantom, you can't guess. You have to guess all the time. You have to guess for up B. Up B becomes unreactable online unless you're literally only looking for it. Like, that's it. Like, she's still not a super amazing character. Like, she becomes high tier, but like there's still like 20 something top tiers. Like, it's crazy. This character is really, really good, but she's one of the characters that breaks the scale. You can't react, you have to guess. I think Sephiroth is actually, he has to guess a lot on Wi-Fi because he's so laggy he's so laggy that, like, a lot of what he does, but, like, a lot of his moves are slow, but you still get hit by them because you can't react to them. So I think he's, like, actually somewhere slightly more in Force's guesses, and, like, I don't know where he is. He's like, a pretty decent character. Because, like, things like up smash and, like, the moves that are barely unreactable or barely reactable offline are now going to be unreactable. So I think he definitely forces more guesses. Like, his movement's going to be very good later, but... So Wii Fit's kind of, like, good. She doesn't force his guesses too much because volleyball is still slow, so is neutral B. So, like, she's kind of like around where Sephiroth is, except worse. Peach has to guess. A lot of her neutral just doesn't work anymore because a lot of it was very precise movement reads and add a shield options with float and stuff, and now you have to guess when people are going to both hit your shield, approach you, run away from you. She struggles. I still think she's a decent character because her offense is still crazy, but, like, she's a struggle. She is a struggle character. Like, I know Ling Ling has had some decent success online, so I don't want to put her, like, too low, but she definitely is one of the hardest characters to play online. Because you just have to do random stuff. Like, you just have to know your opponent, but, like, that's still having to guess, you know what I'm saying? Bowser forces guesses more than not. He's a good character as well, so he's somewhere probably, like, here. He does so much damage, and he has such a good out-of-shield option that I feel like he doesn't really have to guess, because frame 6 both sides is, like, really, really good. Side B's very fast. He has a lot of stuff that he doesn't have to guess, but at the same time, he does lose his 2-frame ability for the most part. I don't know. I definitely think he forces guesses more than not, because also, like, having to guess, like, if you're wrong about, like, Flame Breath, you just take, like, 50. Granted, that happens offline too. Like, it's harder to react to down air and down B, and those things are, like, big deals. Like, he gains a lot from that. I think he's somewhere there. Ice Climbers! You, like, can't play Ice Climbers online. They're, like, awful. They're probably the worst character online. They're also super difficult, because trying to do the combos with a delay when they're so precise and you have to, like, read DI and, like, know percents and see if they're gonna tech footstools and stuff, like, it's so hard. It's so hard. Like, they're impossible. They're so difficult to play online. Like, there's nothing that makes them easier. Nothing. Squallhammer Online is stupid? It's not that stupid. Like, Squallhammer's not good enough to make a whole character. Sheik. Sheik has to guess, but she's still, like, pretty decent. Like, I think Sheik is actually better than people give her credit for online. She does very well versus a lot of zoners because she's so overwhelming and has needles, and needles are very good. But obviously her combos are a lot harder to do online. So she like has to guess more because, again, she's such a precise character and her neutral is, like, fairly difficult. But at the same time, just, like, short hop forward air is pretty good. I don't know, she's somewhere, like, I think she's still better than Luigi. Not as good as Bowser, though. I think Falcon's too high. I already did Zelda, Dr. Mario. So ironically, slow characters, or at least someone like Doc, forces guesses more than vice versa. He's still not a good character. But Doc forces guesses because he has a reflector, so he can deal with a lot of the projectile characters, ironically. And the thing is, if you have a character that is really, really exploitable off stage and you have to whiff punish them, they get better online because it's harder to whiff punish and it's harder to edgeguard. So you have to guess on their recovery in order to kill them a lot of the times. You have to guess in neutral in order to whiff punish them, which is what you need to do versus Doc. And if you're wrong, you're going to get up beat or up smashed out of shield, which will kill you because it's mad strong. So I don't think Doc is a great character, but I do think he gains quite a bit from online because he definitely forces guesses a lot because you have to guess where he's going to be. Because even though he's slow, like, it's really risky to get hit by him. Whereas offline, you can just, like, walk away. Like, there's different things that force you to guess, whether it's projectiles, whether it's just really degenerate strategies, or whether it's, like, you need to play them in a specific way. Like, you need to you have to beat them out of their comfort zone. So, and Doc, you know, it's harder to do that online. Pichu. Pichu has to guess more. One, his combos are harder, and things like Up Throw Thunder are going to be less reliable. And just his general combo tree is going to be harder. And he also is not good versus projectile characters. So, like, that's difficult. That's very difficult. And Pichu loses to a lot of zoning. So, and, like, if you're wrong as Pichu in terms of, like, trying to whiff punish something, suddenly you're going to take too much damage, given how light Pichu is. Falco. I think Falco's another one of those characters like Doc. Because his combos aren't too difficult, but he is, like, Falco's definitely I want to be out of your range. Like when you're fighting against Falco, you want to be out of the range of Falco. and kind of whiff punish him and like know that he's slow and you're gonna like get away from his up tilt and you're gonna play that type of game. And online that's more difficult, so he's going to get more run-ins, he's going to get more short hop forwarders, he's going to get more short hop nairs, more up tilts, because it's harder to space around Falco. Also, again, he has a reflector, so he doesn't really have to worry about projectiles, which is going to be good because like dealing with projectiles is a big has to guess category, and he doesn't have to. Like, the things that I'm putting in have to guess category is it's really hard to hit your opponents and you need to be really precise on like out of shield options or just movement reads in general. Also, if their entire game is based around neutral, and obviously you have to guess earlier, and like your guesses are committal, right? Like, and then dealing with projectiles. Marth sucks. I don't think Marth has to guess or forces guesses more. I guess he probably has to guess more because he definitely has to guess character movement to get tippers. Because if you don't get tippers, you're gonna lose. Marth sucks. Lucina doesn't suck nearly as much and doesn't have to guess as much because she can actually hit with the hilt of her sword. So now she just kind of zones people out with a sword. So she's pretty good. As opposed to not being able to get tippers, if that makes sense. Like, Marth has to guess movement because you need tippers. And Lucina doesn't, because she doesn't need tippers. Marth also has the lowest win percentage on Elite Smash. Like, I'm not even memeing. Steve definitely forces guesses. Because while his combos are precise, he forces guesses a lot because his neutral is entirely like whiff punishing and being annoying. So he definitely forces guesses a lot, and he's also pretty damn good on Wi-Fi. Like, I think Steve is a very, very good character online. Granted, he's also a good character offline. I think he's a good character just in general. And again, we might have to move some stuff around. Is Steve better than Zelda? Steve's probably better than Zelda. I probably put Zelda way too high, because I think Steve's probably like around where Lucina and Bowser are. I think I put Zelda way too high. Minecart's really hard to react to. Like, just generally, this character is just, his game plan is a lot easier online. Young Link forces guesses because he spams projectiles, and Arrow is hard to react to, and Boomerang is, and he has really good out of shield options, and he's fast, and he's so fast, and you have to parry his projectiles, and you have to like really be really good at punishing his up B, and it's really hard to do online. So he forces guesses a lot. Maybe not as much as those characters, but he's still very good. And he's just a great character as well. Like, Young Link's very good online. He forces a lot of guesses because if he's so fast and his projectiles are amazing, and you have a ton of time to confirm. So, Ganondorf. Ganondorf's still really bad. Yeah, he's really bad. He does force you to guess, or he does... Where is he on the left-right thing? I'm not sure. Because he does struggle a lot to get in on projectiles, but he sucks. It doesn't really matter. Like, he could be like here and he's still down here. His recovery's still really easy to deal with for most characters, so you don't really have to guess. So Ganon's just down here somewhere. He's probably like... I think his having to guess and forces guesses are pretty equal because his recovery's better. It's harder to whiff punish him, obviously. It's harder to... But, like, he loses to camping, and he's just slow. So, like, he still has to, like, randomly down B and stuff. Mewtwo. I think Mewtwo forces guesses because he has Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball's very good. And, like, run up down. Like, because he's so fast, it's hard to deal with his speed. He also has a Reflector. He has a Command Grab. He has a Teleport, which is really hard to two-frame and really hard to edgeguard in general. Teleport is really good in disadvantage, especially online. So he definitely, I feel like, forces more guesses than not. It doesn't make him great, because he's still bad. Like, I don't think Mewtwo's a good character. Why is Doc higher than Marth? Because Marth sucks. Roy and Chrom. These motherfuckers make you guess. Both their recoveries are exploitable, and they're hard to deal with. Chrom's a little worse than Roy online, IMO. Maybe a bit. But Roy, they're so fast. They're so fast, and like they can just mash in your face, and it's so hard to deal with it because you can't whiff punish it because it's online, and they're so fast, and they have a sword. It's really hard to react to their ledge trapping to get around it, which sometimes it is. Like, sometimes it's possible. It's really hard to get around their pressure, and it's just difficult. They're really, really, really good. Roy's also one of the best online characters in the game, in my opinion. Chrom is very good, but still worse because he's a bit more exploitable, worse out-of-shield options, obviously worse recovery. But at the same time, you have to guess on their recovery a lot, so... But like Roy, because he's up close, it's so scary. It's so hard. Game & Watch. Game & Watch is one of the best characters online and also forces you to guess a ton. What does he force you to guess on? The thing about Game & Watch is the most exploitable, and the worst thing about Game & Watch is his landing lag on his down air and his back air. So what he would do after up B. Like, the ability to punish Game & Watch after his up B is quite extreme and quite real for a lot of characters, and that's largely offline where Game & Watch gets punished. And it's really hard to do that online because you're going to miss your back air punishes, you're going to miss your down air punishes, you're not going to react to down air. You can't react to his ledge options even close to a little bit online. So he literally forces you to guess in so many situations and has really big options that just work, like Chef. and like Nair, and like up B, and like up air, where it's not difficult at all to just win with. Also, he has Bucket, so projectile characters are all bad versus him. So he's a really, really good character. You have to read his drifts, you have to read his movement and mobility options, and his neutral is the second worst thing about him, and again, he has more unreactable neutral options. Yeah. He's also, at worst, the second best character on Wi-Fi IMO. It's either him or Sonic, spoilers. Bucket can be exploited, that shit has, like, no lag. Metaknight. Metaknight has to guess, and is also bad. Metaknight's a bad character. Also, he has to hope that he gets the correct hits. It's really hard for him to react to the SDI. It's really hard to react DI if they go into tumble, which hopefully they don't. It's hard for him to edge guard. Like, he does gain some stuff because, like, it's harder to hit him out of dare camping sometimes. But, like, overall, he loses more than he gains. And he's also a mediocre character. Like, Meta Knight's bad in general, but, like, he's even worse offline. Or, sorry, online. Pit. I think Pit is literally exactly on, like, he's basically right here. He's basically exactly in the center. Because I feel like his forces guesses and his has to guess is equal, because his neutral's really good. A lot of it is whiff punishing, but at the same time it's still good enough, because, like, dash attack is amazing, and his dash speed and his back dash are really, really good. So, like, he has the tools to deal with it, but also he's mostly neutral. Also, some of his combos get messed up, but at the same time, he has really easy edgeguarding just from Nair. People are going to mess up edgeguarding his recovery, even though it has no hitbox, but at the same time, arrows are harder. So, I feel like he's, like, exactly in the center. Like, exactly. I think Luigi's way too high, now that I'm thinking about it. Zero Suit Samus. The ZSS forces guesses. She's too fast. She's so fast. If Zero Suit decides to go, hey, you can't hit me, your answer is, yes, you're right. I'm sorry for trying. She can play so evasive and so obnoxious. You cannot react to flip jump. You can't do anything to, like, just her camping in the corner. And then her jumps are amazing to get out of the corner. Of course, does she get her combos? No. But you don't need amazing combos of Zero Suit for her to be good, because all you have to do is Nair up smash or Zair up B. You have a ton of time to react to whether or not the Zair is going to hit. And then you still have your, like, really good shield pressure and mix-ups. So, Zero Suit's incredible online. It's just you have to play a specific way. Like, certain playstyles get nerfed, but overall, like, if you just, like, you can play a random, like, I can play Zero Suit right now on Elite Smash, and I will time someone out. Because I'll just down B everywhere. Wario. I think Wario forces guesses more than has to guess, because the thing about Wario is the way to beat Wario is to zone him out and to, like, swat at him over here, right? Just be like, go away. Online, it's harder to do that, for the most part. His combos are fairly simple for, like, Nair combos. His edge trapping's still really good. You can still react to down tilt dash attack. He's also very good because Waft, he can just run away. Like, Wario's an incredible character online. I mean, Tweak had a ton of success with the character. I know Loaf does pretty well. Waft confirms are hard to get online. No, they're not. You just up tilt. Like, the combos are flowchart enough. And again, the way to play against Wario is entirely nerfed. Y'all notice the correlation? Snake. Because grenades take 2.5 seconds to blow up, and because he has to set up traps really early, I think Snake has to guess more. I think he's a good character, but I think Snake definitely has to guess more than he forces guesses, because Snakes need to place and react to react to where people are moving with their grenades so frequently, and it's really, really difficult to do that in a more delay environment. I think Snake is actually fairly difficult to play because, again, 2.5 seconds is a long time. It's not like grenades are really quick projectiles. They're 2.5 seconds. Like, Snake grenades don't blow up unless you hit them, which is, like, if you guess right on someone swinging, you guess right from someone swinging, but that's a guess. And if you're wrong about that, now Snake has to, like, shield and get put in an awkward situation, and a lot of people just don't know how to deal with grenade in general. I definitely think Snake, because of that, gets a lot worse. Also, I mean, less trapping for him is kind of broken, so maybe I'll put him, like, there. But, like, Snake in general is a really, really difficult character. He's super difficult. He's probably around where Pikachu is in the tier list. Like, his combos are harder to do, but at the same time he has less combos. But there's a lot of, like, really precise stuff that Snake has to do that's just really, really difficult to do on Wi-Fi. Hey, look, me and Nvidia were best buddies, just like in just like in real life. The only thing buffed about Snake is C4 Nikita. So Nikita is heavily nerfed. What are you talking about? Nikita's so hard to do online because those few frames are going to be entirely different situations where your opponent's going to be. Also, you can't deactivate it nearly as easily when like something hits it. So like super no. Super no. Nikita's way worse. Up smash is broken online. But also up smash is just broken, period. So Ike forces guesses. And that character's mad good. Do you want to know what he forces you to guess? He forces you to guess what arrows he's going to do and when he's going to do them. Alright, offline, you can react to Nair and parry it. Online, you cannot. So he forces guesses. All the time. All the time. You don't, like, his throw combos are incredibly easy because you just do down throw, jump forward, up air, and it works. All the time. His kill confirms, you have so much time to confirm them that you don't have to guess. His combos are really easy, except maybe down throw back air, down tilt back air. Like, this character forces you to guess a lot, and he's also incredible online. Like, he's so good. He is such a good character. He's so good online. He's definitely worse offline, because he, like, you just parry his nair, and suddenly he's gonna get hit. Pokemon Trainer. They're pretty close to the center here. I feel like you have to, like, the neutral is hard for characters like Squirtle because he's a brawler, but at the same time, reacting to tech chases, like, Squirtle puts even more tech chases than Pikachu does, and Squirtle, like, his combos are easy enough that you don't really have to react to DI. You kind of, like Charizard, things like back air are harder to react to. Like, his random, like, burst options are harder to react to, things like Flare Blitz. Like, the SDI, like, down air, in which case you can react to that because it's a multi-hit move. Is Pokemon Trainer better than Mario Online? It's close. I definitely think just overall, PT forces more guesses. Also, you still have to guess on swap, because frame 1, lol. I think that's about right. Like, they're, like, at the same time, like, sometimes approaching a Squirtle can be difficult, and I feel like Ivysaur is a lot worse. Like, Charizard and Squirtle... Sorry, Squirtle depends on the matchup. Charizard, I feel like, forces guesses a lot more, and Ivysaur kind of doesn't force. I think Ivysaur's nerfed online. Because, like, the edge guards are very precise. Things like down air are, like, hard to hit. The combos are worse. Like, reacting to, like, DI with, like, up B is worse. Like, so, like, down throw up B is just harder to do in general. Who's next? Diddy Kong. I will die on this hill. Diddy Kong forces guesses. Not having the ability to react to Monkey Flip and Banana Toss make Diddy better online. Does he have crazy combos that are probably better offline, like his Infinite, and just different setups? Yes, 100%. But his neutral is the best thing about him, and the neutral is way better because you cannot react to Monkey Flip, you cannot really edgeguard him, and you cannot react to Banana. You have to guess. You have to be scared from so far, and that's, like, it's so difficult. I think he forces guesses a lot, and I also think he's very, very good online. Like, I know people think that Diddy's an offline character because obviously he wants to be able to react with things like Z-Drop Banana Add a Shield and get his big combos, and like his optimal whiff punishing, but at the same time, you can just dash back anyway and you're probably going to be fine. Like, I think Diddy's good, like, he's good online, and he forces a lot of guesses. Maybe not more than Ike, so maybe he's like, here, but like, he's good. Next up, Lucas. I think Lucas forces guesses. He's like a pretty good character. PK Fire, like, Ledge Hop Zair is, or sorry, Ledge Jump Zair is like unreactable. PK Fire is obviously hard to react to. It's hard to edgeguard him because you can't really react to, like, PK Thunder is kind of hard to deal with. His tether's really good. His, like, neutral, even though he's slow, like, he obviously has Magnet, so, like, energy projectiles aren't going to be that big of a deal against him. Like, but it's strange because, like, he's a really precise character in general. He relies a lot on two-framing between, like, F-tilt, down smash, and PK freeze. But, like, his neutral's so hard to deal with, and then it's really hard to hit his disadvantage. And I feel like if your biggest weakness is buffed online, then you're buffed online, if that makes sense. Like, his disadvantage is the worst thing about him. But, like, trying to react to his drift and his everything online is really, really difficult. Plus, his frame data is good enough where you can just kind of just, like, mash stuff. So, I don't know, I think he's, like, pretty good. Sonic. Aha. We have made it to the character that breaks the scale the most. Sonic forces you to guess more than any character online. He's so good. Homing attack is impossible to react to. A lot of things this character does. His unreactable range in the 4 or 5 frames online literally is like 5 character distances or 4 character distances. He's the most buffed character on Wi-Fi by a lot, or online. He's top 2. He's either the best character or the second best character. He's broken. He's so good. He forces you to guess all the time. His disadvantage is harder to deal with. His recovery is harder to hit. Like, everything that's good about this character is even better, and everything that's bad about this character isn't bad. So he's clearly, like, broken. Like, I don't think Sonic's great offline. Like, I think he's, like, upper mid-tier. But, like, this character here, no one thinks he's anywhere other than, like, top 2 or 3. King Daydayday. King Daydayday forces guesses because Gordo's way more difficult to hit. And things like back air are harder to react to, and they're fairly easy to parry offline. He definitely is one of those characters that benefits a lot from Wi-Fi, and he gets a lot better. Like, Daydayday, again, offline is like here. Like, in terms of the tier position. Well, he's pretty good. He's pretty good online. Is he better than Bowser? Yeah, probably. Like, I think he forces hella guesses on Wi-Fi. Because it's harder to edge guard him, it's harder to edge trap him, it's harder to deal with Gordo. It's harder to react to his command grab. Back air's harder to deal with. Olimar. So Olimar's kind of in a weird spot. He's obviously a projectile character, so I kind of want to give him the benefit of the doubt and force his guesses. But I feel like a lot of Olimar's camping is a lot more precise than people give it credit for. They're not just spamming side B. They're like really trying, and a lot of the more precise things for Olimar are very difficult, like timing whistles, getting your correct ledge traps. Like, I don't think Olimar's easy online at all. Like, purple's annoying to deal with. Like, the recovery's harder to mess with, which is definitely helpful. Like, I would definitely say he's in slightly more forces guesses, but he's not, like, great. Like, I don't think it's, like, a big deal. Like, Olimar's just not easy, period. But I do think, because he's just a zoner and people are gonna get frustrated, that he is forces guesses more than not. But I don't think it's, like, a lot. Lucario. Lucario's a charge character. Like, a charge shot character, so he definitely forces guesses. He's also very fast, and his movement's very tricky. So his also recovery is normally exploitable, but it's fairly difficult to like hit. He's still worse than these characters though. He's like somewhere in like that trio. But he has a charge bolt. He has a Aura Sphere. Granted, Aura Sphere sucks compared to he's like the worst charge shot because it's really bad unless he has a lot of aura. But at the same time, it has like things on shield. I know like Armadillo's been doing decent, but I do think that a big thing of why Lucario forces guesses is kill confirms are a little harder online generally. And if you don't get kill confirms versus Lucario, suddenly he's going to kill you because he has aura and he's going to back air. And that's really difficult to deal with. Is Lucario better than Donkey Kong and Doc? They're all similar. Like that area is pretty close. R.O.B. R.O.B is up here. He forces guesses a lot. I don't know if he forces guesses more than Game & Watch, probably. Because he's also a zoner. R.O.B's broken online, because one of the worst things about R.O.B is his disadvantage state. Because, like, Nair's not great. Like, it's good, but it's not great, because you can parry it because it's slow. You can't parry it online. It's a lot harder to parry it online. Also, he has 2 projectiles that are very good. He has 0 to deaths that are very easy, and you don't really have to react to DI. Down tilt exists. It's impossible to react to up air for, like, which way it's going to kill you. He has really simple edge guards with down air, and side B, he has really easy ledge trapping that kind of just does it for you. He has great out of shield options, so he doesn't, and that hits on both sides. But yeah, R.O.B, just everything about this character gets better online. His kill confirms are easy, so that doesn't really matter because they're off of grab. You just do down throw and then just do up tilt up air. Up smash is really good. Down tilt's amazing. Nair is better. Like, everything's better. Yeah, he's also like top 3 or 4. Like, I think these 4 characters are like the elite online characters. Toon Link. Just in general, zoners force guesses, but Toon Link's still okay. And his skill confirms are relatively simple because it's still like bomb fair, boomerang fair, but like he's still not great. Like, I would say he's just definitely worse than like Wii Fit, right? Like, he's somewhere like here. Because Toon Link just kind of runs around and like does random stuff, but like, I don't know. He's a weird character just in general. He has good out of shield options with up B, he has forward tilt, but like he's okay. He has some very good things about him, and if you can't deal with his camping or you can't deal with floatiness, then you're gonna struggle. But Wolf. I think Wolf is like exactly in the center, but he's still like pretty good. I think Wolf is a good character. A lot of his combos actually aren't DI dependent. Like, you can't DI them enough. Like, fair back air is still very easy. You've seen Charlie get fair back air side B a lot online. He's very fast or he's not fast, but his dash back is very good, and one big thing to do against Wolf is parry his, like, landing nairs and stuff, which is obviously going to be harder online, and also just edgeguard him. It's very hard to edgeguard him because you can't react to his side B. You have to guess. Like, he's still definitely a neutral-based character, so if you're a character that's really good at rushdown, he's going to struggle because he can't really whiff punish you as easily, like, let's say, Diddy Kong, right? Something like that. But yeah, Wolf's really good. It's really hard to hit him in neutral, but at the same time, if he loses the lead, it's kind of hard to get it back. But he forces guesses more just because of his recovery. Like, it's basically just his recovery. Palutena. So her neutral's so good that it doesn't matter that technically she has to guess. So she doesn't have to guess at all. So she just plays her normal game. But at the same time, it's harder to parry her forward air and her back air. It's harder to edge guard her. It's harder to edge trap her. Whereas she just has really lingering long moves like down tilt, like Nair. You have auto reticle, which is harder to react to. Explosive flame, which is harder to react to. So she just does Palu things. She's worse than offline, probably. But like, that's relative, you know? Because like, other characters get better than her, if that makes sense. But yeah, Palu's pretty good. Online Palu's still busted. Yeah, she's still top 10. But yeah, Palu's really good online. Her game plan is exactly the same. Villager, we're in Smash 4 now. Villager forces guesses, but like, it's not crazy. Like, I think he's like okay, like around Lucas level. Or like, the guesses are there. But at the same time, it's not crazy. It's just like, oh, he has projectile, but at the same time, Lloyd Rocket's still slow. I don't know what you're struggling to react to except for like forward air. Like, forward air's harder to react to, sure, but like in general, you're just going to be like, even offline, you're going to be running up and shielding against Villager like all the time. So like, the only thing that you can't react to, quote unquote, is grab. But like, that's about it. Because like, Bowling Ball's still going to do bowling ball things. You don't really whiff punish Villager. I mean, I guess you do. You like juggle him. But Villager's just kind of the same, except like, probably, he's not that good. Villager's like here. Mega Man. I think Mega Man's zoning is kind of interesting enough that he doesn't really, like, you have to guess against Mega Man, but at the same time, he's weird. Because, like, his neutral, like, his patterns online aren't as easy because Mega Man, during his pellets, has a lot of reacting and a lot of understanding what's happening. And I feel like that just doesn't exist, really. Like, it's harder to do that online, kind of what I always say about Min Min inevitably. And if you're wrong, you're going to get hit, and then Mega Man's disadvantage is bad, and he still gets edge-guarded, because his edge-guarding is slow enough that you can still kind of react to it. The only really thing that's difficult to deal with is Leaf Shield. Leaf Shield's much more difficult to deal with it, but, like, also it's broken anyway, so, like, being a little bit more difficult to deal with is, like, not that big of a deal. Because, like, it's already good. Like, it already, like, forces shield and stuff anyway. Rosalina and Luma. Rosa struggles online, because she has to guess whether or not she's going to get her inputs or not. I think Rosa's mediocre online. I feel like her advantage state is a lot worse online. I feel like her neutral is worse online. She has to guess whether people are going to like jump above. Like her like neutral reads are really important. So if you jab when you weren't supposed to jab, suddenly you're gonna get hit. Luma's gonna die. It's gonna struggle. It's gonna be hard. Also, she's just technically demanding and is difficult to consistently do that type of stuff online. So he's definitely like meh. Little Mac. Little Mac technically forces you to guess more because he's super fast and his recovery is more difficult to deal with online. But he's still bad. But I think he forces guesses more than he forces, like, he needs to guess because he still has trample. Like, it's harder to whiff punish Mac. It's harder to add a shield him as well. Like, not a good character. I still think he's a bad character, but I think he needs to do more. Like, you have to guess versus him more. Greninja. I feel like Greninja's kind of in the center of has to guess and forces to guess. He's a very good character still, because a lot of Greninja's game is whiff punishing, but a lot of Greninja's game, like a lot of beating Greninja is whiff punishing Greninja, and also edge guarding him. So while Greninja's combos are going to be slightly less good, I feel like he is still very good online because he's so fast. Like, he's so fast, and like, dash attack is, let's say, better than Fox's, right? Which is why I like Fox is more so over here. But Greninja's so fast, has a good projectile. Also, Fox, I would love to move Fox, but I don't think I can actually grab him. Wait, if I make the size bigger... Greninja's just... Because he has a really good projectile, and his landing aerial... Like, the biggest thing about Greninja, like, or one of the biggest things, is a lot of his movement is, like... Or a lot of his, like, counterplay is, like, parry the nair, whiff punish the dash attack, react and take space when he does neutral B. But online, it's way harder to both whiff punish and parry his nair. So... But at the same time, his combos are going to be worse, because you need to react a lot of times for his combos with, like, tech chasing and stuff like that. So... He's kind of in the center, and still a pretty good character. Mii Fighters. So I will do Mii Brawler. Ding, 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 Mii Brawler alert. Mii Fighter alert. Actually, I'll do Mii Gunner first. She forces you to guess a shit ton. But still not a great character, but still better than Daydayday. Also, Diddy needs to be higher than that. Also, Dark Pit and... Or sorry, this isn't Dark Pit, this is Steve. Daydayday needs to go lower than that. He's not that good. Mii Gunner is probably still better than Zelda. The zoning of Mii Gunner is really, really good. The zoning is amazing. The recovery is very exploitable normally, but it's hard. But, still not a great character. Definitely better, because the zoning's harder to deal with, forward is harder to deal with, random burst options like dash attack are harder to deal with. and they're harder to edgeguard. Whereas like all their strengths are kind of the same, except for like, oh, sometimes up smash is harder to react to, but like Mii Gunner is definitely one of the characters that benefits from online the most. Mii Swordsman still sucks, but he forces guesses more because Tornado's harder to deal with, and so is Chrom. But it's still a bad character. Definitely a bad character. Swordsman just can't do anything. He's so slow. His recovery's still mediocre. Like, he can do his confirms, which is why, like Tornado has so much hit stun that, like, it's still easy to combo, but, like, still bad. Still a bad character. Better than Marth, though. And Mii Brawler. Mii Brawler has to guess. His character's still, like, pretty decent online, but, like, Mii Brawler loses a lot of what he has, because Mii Brawler is a combo character and a ledge trapping character, and ledge trapping and comboing are harder online. It's harder to react to DI, it's harder to react to the fact that you got the landing aerial, it's harder for him to get parry punishes like parry down tilt and stuff like that. Like, he's still good because he has a good out of shield option. His offense is still harder to deal with in terms of like his approaching options, because it's harder to parry his nair, it's harder to like space around him because he's more like unpredictable because he has a really good jump. But he's definitely still has to guess more because he's a combo character and he loses his combos. But he's still like pretty good. Probably worse than Sheik though. Pac-Man! Pac-Man gets better online because you can't react to anything. He forces so many guesses. Because you don't know if he's gonna hydrant or not, or neutral air, when he's gonna throw his fruit. I'm fucking singing like Andrew Sawicki from the famous Sweet Boys podcast. Like, he's obnoxious. Pac-Man's so obnoxious. His camping gets better. His offense gets a little worse, but it's still good. But he's just really good. I don't think he gets like I don't think he's like up here or anything, but like he's still a good character. Robin benefits from online so much. Robin is so much better online because you can't react to Arcfire or Thunders or edgeguard this character. Whereas they still have giant aerials and very easy to confirm moves because Arcfire takes fucking 6 years to finish. It's harder to edgeguard Robin. It's harder to deal with the neutral because like Arcfire's bad. Like, in reality, Arcfire's bad because most characters can like jump over it and then fast fall and then be on the ground in front of where Arcfire is. Thunder's also reactable. When those things no longer are reactable, this character gets hella buffed. What's better, Arcfire or PK Fire? PK Fire because it has less landing lag. But also PK Fire is just better than Arcfire in general. Like, I don't think online. I think Arcfire gains more from online, but PK Fire is still better. Shulk. This character is so hard online. Shulk is so hard online. Because if you can't react and switch your arts correctly, you're screwed. If you can't ledge trap or 2-frame with this character, he loses the biggest things about him. Because then you're going to die, you're going to not have your arts, you're going to not have smash arts, you're not going to be able to kill your opponent. It's hard to do anything with this character online. Unless you're godlike. But also, no one plays Shulk online. This character goes down. They're yelling timber, they better move, he better dance. But yeah, I think Shulk is still, like, good. Like, he's still a crazy character. But, he gets a lot harder. He gets a lot harder, and his moves are slow enough that you're not really, like, forcing people to guess, and his moves are already safe, so you're not really gaining anything from it, because, like, even if you parry his forward air, you're probably not going to punish it. Yeah, Shulk's hard. Shulk can mash online. He can mash offline, too. But, like, the best things about him all get worse. After Shulk is Bowser Jr. I think Bowser Jr. is, like, exactly in the center because his side B's harder to deal with. But, like, I feel like he doesn't really, like, he's still hard to edgeguard, and you have to kind of guess for, like, if you're going to hit the side Bs and stuff to get side B up B. But I still think he's, like, a mediocre character. Like, he's somewhere, like, here. Like, the slope is kind of just 1. Duck Hunt is a zoner, so he gains a little bit from being a zoner. But at the same time, his zoning's really difficult. Because he needs to react to a lot of stuff, and the combos that he needs are very difficult to get because you have to react to where Can is, and Can is very finicky projectile. Side B's really good. Like, Side B's super broken online. But I think that losing the ability to combo off of Can is a big deal. Well, not that big of a deal. He's somewhere like here. Like, I think Duck Hunt's a pretty good character in general. Like, he definitely forces people to guess in his zoning, especially because Side B's so good, because Side B's unreactable and suddenly you're gonna die. But, like, missing something like Can sucks. So he's not, like, up here, but he's like, you know, in this area. The Shotos! It's Ryu. Ryu, contrary to popular belief, forces guesses. What does he force the guess on, you may ask? Because he has combos that are hard to do. And he has to react to, like, neutral and stuff. But the thing is, Ryu, you have to guess his recovery. And the worst thing about Ryu is his recovery. And if you're not edgeguarding Ryu, this character is so much better. So much better. Like, it's crazy how much better Ryu is. when you can't edge guard him. So you can't edge guard him. Everything else is basically the same because you have a ton of time to react to your combos because you're just spamming down tilt on shield and it doesn't matter. And then if you get it, you go strong down tilt Tatsu, strong down tilt Fireball. Easy. Same thing for Ken, honestly. I mean, Ken's probably a little worse because his recovery's already better. I don't know. They're probably like very, very similar. I do think Ryu's just better online. Like Ken's faster. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know who's better. They're both like kind of similar online. Yeah, I think the Shotos are very similar. I don't really know who's better and who's worse. So this kind of just like, this is an area for just them in general. Because again, Ken's faster, but his combos are less consistent and more likely to fall out because of Wi-Fi. Also, his combos are just harder because Ryu's combos are simpler. Yeah, so I think this is correct. I think Ryu forces guesses, but like Ken has to guess more because his combos are harder, so he has to guess on DI, he has to guess on like timings and stuff like that. Like Ryu's a bit simpler of a game plan, but they both benefit from online because I don't know, Ken's probably honestly like here. It's like, well, he does benefit from recovery. His combos are way harder, whereas Ryu literally goes like down tilt, strong down tilt, Shaku, down tilt, strong down tilt, Tatsu, like over and over again. So Ken's probably more like here. Cloud. You already know where Cloud is. Cloud's in top tier, baby. He forces guesses hella because the worst thing about Cloud is his recovery, as well as parrying his attacks in neutral. And it's way harder to parry attacks in neutral. And also his recovery is harder to edgeguard because of online because you can't react. And if you mess up, that's a stock. And then he gets to play neutral again. And his neutral's pretty good, which is hard to deal with because you can't parry because of online. So Cloud's good. Also, Cloud's top 10 on Wi-Fi. Kind of easy. Like, he's not top 1 or 2 like I thought he was before, but he's definitely up there. Cloud's kind of busted on Wi-Fi. Plus, he has giant moves like up smash and dash attack that, like, if you're not ready for them, you're gonna get screwed. Plus, he has up out of shield, which is broken. Like, he has good out of shield options. So, like, he basically just plays exactly the game he wants to play all the time. He struggles to kill? No, he does not. He just baggers at 130, or up smashes at 100, or dash attacks at 130, or ledge traps you. He throws you off stage and then ledge traps you. How do I think this tier list will hold up offline? It is not close to an offline tier list. If you want to check out an offline tier list, you can check out my offline tier list that's on my YouTube. Corn. I think Corn, because pin and edge guarding, definitely forces guesses more than has to guess. And they're very good online, IMO. They have big sword, strong kill move. Like, they're just strong. And, like, they have very flowcharty, like, offense. And even though they're slow, it's really hard to whiff punish Corn because online. Like, the couple of extra frames are a big deal. Back here also auto spaces in general. But it's harder to deal with Corrin defensively, and then it's harder to be offensive against Corrin because you're gonna mess. Like, generally characters will have a harder time comboing. I think Corrin also does fine against zoners because once Corrin hits someone an advantage, Corrin's advantage state is really, really good even online because up air is like so big. So yeah, Bayo. I don't know. I feel like simple Bayo is very good online. It's harder to react to ABK. It's harder to punish her disadvantage. Like, those things are definitely true, but her combos get harder. But at the same time, do you really need the fancy combos when you still deal 60? So she forces guesses more than she, like, because of her disadvantage is the worst thing about her. So she's definitely like over here. Like, I think she's like here. It's really hard to react to side B for most, like, a lot of characters. Like, if you aren't like a short character, you can just crouch under it. Like, jump side B, obviously. Also, again, it's harder to deal with her advantage or her disadvantage, which is like a big deal. Her edge guarding is still simple enough because you just kind of up B. Like, it's not like it's a precise move, you just kind of throw it out. Like, her best combos get worse, but at the same time, you still deal 60. Would I use this format for offline tier lists? Nope, because this is compared to offline. Inkling has to guess, because Inkling, a lot of what Inkling wants to do is whiff punish, and you can't whiff punish online. Still pretty good though, because like Roller, you still get the advantage of Roller, which is a big deal. But Inkling does a lot of whiff punishing, like a lot of whiff punishing. Like, that's mostly what Inkling does. Also, up air is way harder online, which is the main kill confirm. So you get buffed because of Roller, but you get nerfed in like every other way, basically. So, like, Inkling is always going to be, like, you're always going to have to guess against Inkling in neutral. But, like, compared to offline, Inkling has to guess more. Because, like, you're always guessing against Inkling in neutral. Just period, because of the amazing dash. Ridley. Ridley forces guesses with side B, and he's a very simple character. So I want to put him, like, because I think side B is harder to deal with. But you do lose the ability to two-frame, but also you get 2 frames anyway because the moves kind of linger long enough anyway. Still mediocre. Like, I think Ridley doesn't gain a lot. Like, kind of stays exactly the same, but a lot of characters get better because of Wi-Fi. In terms of, like, relative. So, Like, I think barely, like, I think it's basically on the line, but just not quite. He's above Villager. I think Villager gains more online. The Belmonts force guesses online. Because all of his camping is now harder to deal with. Forward tilt's harder to deal with. Forward air's harder to deal with. It's harder to edgeguard him. Because online exists. But he's still mediocre. He's still not a great character. But, like, Downer's harder to deal with. The general disadvantage of this character is harder to deal with. But he's still, like, meh. So, he's there. K-Rool. K-Rool also benefits from online because the precision that you need to deal with some of his projectiles just doesn't exist. It's hard to parry crown and dash in and punish it online. So you kind of just have to shield it, and then everything's different. Maybe not that high. I think it's like still worse than R.O.B. and he's still not that good. But he definitely forces guesses more than not. Like, I don't think he's a good character. Because people still like play silly versus K-Rool. Like, I think he's better. Because he's like bottom 10-ish probably offline. Whereas here he's like 20, 22, something like that. Isabelle forces guesses, kind of with Villager, but worse than Villager. Isabelle's mediocre, but she definitely forces guesses more than not because projectiles and side B. So it's hard. Like, she's just... It's harder to deal with her, but she's still bad. Also, it's harder to edgeguard her because people are just going to miss. It's still not a great character. I'm going to back up there. Isabelle scares you to death? You mean bad DI? Joker's not on the list to the right, correct. It ends at a plant, so I have to bring it in. Incineroar. So he's one of the things, after watching Skyjay, I'm kind of realizing he's probably slightly better online because he's always going to be slow and have to run in, but things like side B are hard to react to. His general neutral is, again, kind of similar to what I said about Doc, right? Where, like, maybe Doc and DK should probably switch places. But, like, a very similar thing where, like, Incineroar is really slow. So a lot of times what you're going to do is try to camp this character, but he can deal with projectile camping decently because he has revenge. But a lot of the times, it's really hard to, one, react to side B, two, whiff punish him online. It's hard to whiff punish him online. You don't want to fight him because he's really good at fighting, so you want to run away from him, but running away is harder on Wi-Fi unless you're playing a camping character. Like, I definitely think that Incineroar is pretty good. I mean, he kills really early. Revenge is crazy. Well, he's not pretty good because he's definitely, like, here, offline. But he's probably, like, in this tier. Is he better than Doc? He's, like, here. Which, like, still isn't good, because there's not a lot of characters down here. Next up is Plant. Piranha Plant forces guesses online. He's much better online, because his camping's really annoying. Two, he's really strong. It's harder to edgeguard him. Poison Cloud's really good. He has decent out of shield options, but mostly Patooey. It's mostly Patooey. It's basically just Patooey. So he definitely forces guesses. But he's not, like, great. But, like, he's still pretty good. Like, you have to really be ready for the Plant matchup in order to beat the Plant matchup. Online. Somewhere like there. Next up is Joker. Let me save the image. So Joker's still really good. I think people saying Joker bad kind of just took what Leo said and ran with it. But Joker is very good. Joker's a good character online. Probably even better than that. Because one of the biggest things about Joker is he's hard to hit. Joker's really hard to hit. If you play a game where you don't want to get hit, it's hard to kill him. Also, it's hard to edgeguard him online. Like, if he just runs away, what are you going to do? If you're going to experience lag while trying to edgeguard him, or you're just going to be slightly off on trying to edgeguard his tether, you're going to be wrong, and he's going to make it back. The hurt box is tiny. Also, he just has blatant super strong kill moves, like back air, and forward tilt, and back air, and mostly back air. And counter's still really good online. Rebel's Guard's still really good online, so he can deal with projectiles. Gun's good. Aeha's good. Aegon's good. Like, what gets worse about Joker is some of his combos. And the ability to, like, dash attack with punish people. But also, he's still so fast, and his movement is so good, that he's definitely still good. He's probably a little worse. He doesn't force guesses more because he does the stuff offline too. He's good. Character's a good. Like, I think Joker's definitely better than all these characters online. Someone fairly unremarkable, except then Leo plays them. Hero. I definitely think forces guesses more because it's harder to react to menu. It's much harder to react to menu than it is offline. But it doesn't do it like, well, he's like here. Because, like, he's still slow. And you don't really whiff punish Hero, you just kind of overwhelm him, which is still going to happen. So I would say he's, like, there somewhere. Like, he's good. His zoning's pretty good, and, like, side B's harder to react to. But he's not, like, broken. Banjo and Kazooie. Where does Banjo go? Where does Banjo go? Like, Banjo's an online character, but, like, Grenade's really slow, but also people are really bad at dealing with it. I think it's, like, over here. He's in, like, the Plant Daydayday category. Plant Daydayday Belmont. Look at that category. Plant, Belmonts, Banjo, Daydayday. I think that's accurate. Because, like, People are really bad at dealing with grenades. You do lose the ability to 2-frame sometimes, but also, like, side B and down tilt are so lingering for 2 frames that, like, it's fine. Like, his general game plan's kind of annoying, because, like, just dash away is, like, annoying. And, like, his combos are easy out of all those things, so it's not like it's, like, Duck Hunt, who's, like, more to the left. Because, like, Can's harder to like, combo off of. Pika better than Joker online? Maybe. I'm gonna, like, move some stuff around at the end. But they're close. Terry, I feel like, is, like, shameless enough, where he kind of is in the center. And, like, it's pretty good. Because, like, his neutral is obviously, like, he has to run up and hit people. But at the same time, he has to, like, react to SDI. But at the same time, it's harder to edge guard him. But at the same time, his offense is going to be less good. And, like, his advantage and combos are going to be less good. So he's probably, like, maybe, like, here. But he's forces to guess just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. A little bit more. Violet. Watch, this video's only going to be, like, an hour and a half on YouTube. And people are going to be like, oh my god, you didn't go in-depth, like, at all. I wanted more in-depth conversations. And I'm just like, y'all complain about the 2.5-hour videos that are my normal tier lists. Byleth. Definitely, like, not great. I feel like Byleth has, like, the Doc and, like, Incineroar thing of just, like, they're slow. So, like, but with punishing them is harder, and they have a bunch of range. And also, for Byleth, it's harder to edgeguard Byleth. Because, like, I don't know, like, what crazy in-depth stuff that Byleth has that you're gonna mess up, because of Wi-Fi, except for, like, spacing sometimes. But I'm not sure. Are, like, 50 characters in top tier? They're not. This is just, like, top tier towards low tier. Like, being up here doesn't mean you're top. Like, being, like, here doesn't mean you're top tier. But also, realistically, this little jumble fuck right here, that's, like, how Ultimate is. Like, this jumble is literally how Ultimate is, where it's just like, yeah, there's, like, 15 characters that are all kind of the same, and maybe some are a little bit better, and maybe some are a little bit worse, but they're all, like, kind of the same. Like, this is accurate. There's, like, 15 characters. Like, Byleth, I'm not sure what, like, Byleth... Like, I think Byleth's maybe more towards the center. Yeah, that looks about right. And the last character, because we've already done the other 2 DLCs, is Min Min. So I kind of understand what people are talking about, where Min Min does force guesses. For sure. She's also good. Sorry, worse online, because when she misses, when she commits and is wrong, she dies for it. Like, a lot of her even matchups are like, you have to play neutral very, very well matchups are harder online. But that doesn't mean that she doesn't force people to guess more. Like, she's still very, very good, because if you're slow, or you're a character that isn't going to kill her in one hit, she's still going to be very oppressive. Worse online than offline? Yep, every single Min Min thinks that. So it's not just me. So let me move stuff around, but that's the preliminary list. That is the list at the beginning. So, like Sonic and R.O.B, and like Sonic, Zelda, R.O.B, Game & Watch, I feel like are the 4 most guessy characters. Then Samus and Ness and Mii Gunner. Cloud, Young Link, Daydayday, Roy, Chrom, Belmonts, Pac-Man, Steve, Ike, Mewtwo. You should probably be closer to here. Diddy Kong, Palu, Lucario should probably be more this way. The top is how good characters are. This is how much Wi-Fi affects their gameplay, basically. But yeah, this is basically how Ultimate is. Like, if y'all are complaining, it's like, oh my god, why are there so few characters in low tier? Welcome to Ultimate. This is why there are like 6 low tier characters, then a bunch of mid tier characters, then a bunch of high tier characters, then a bunch of top tier characters. But anyway, everyone, that's the tier list. I hope you all enjoyed. Again, thank you Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring today's video. Go to the link in the description to sign up. As always, social media, pen, and partner stuff is down below. Let me know what you think of this and how wrong you think I am, because I'm sure you think that, and I will see you all next time.